Hi! Look how pretty this place is. I'm actually pooping my pants. I'm so excited because we're not only in the place where everything started for me personally, but I get to be with the woman who inspires me all the time and is like my counterpart in life. And I just love her so much and she's incredible. You know her very well. She's a former Miss Hawai, but there's so much that you don't know about her. She's one of 2 women ever to be crowned Miss Hawaii's Teen and Miss Hawaii. And when she was crowned Miss Hawaii's Teen, she was a product of the foster care system. She's been through a lot of things in her life and she's constantly overcome them and is still a champion for wellness and women's rights in Hawaii. And she's an inspiring person and she's an incredible leader. And I'm just so lucky that she wants to be my friend, let alone would come on my podcast. So it is my distinct honor in Po'ai by Pono Potions in Chinatown to welcome Hayley Cheyney-Kāne to Between You and Me.
Oh my gosh, hi. Oh my gosh.
Wow, hi, Mari.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Miss Hawai.
Wow.
That's
okay.
you.
No, keep singing.
Oh, so lovely. I don't know the rest of the words.
Sickening. Wait, sickening. Okay, yeah. If you guys don't know, I can also sing, but I choose not to because I wanted to make it about my guests. You know, it's just not.
She really can sing the house down. Yeah.
You heard it here first, for real.
She's actually she's gonna come up with her very own theme song. And she's gonna sing
no,
it and
Hayley
record it
actually
herself.
wrote my theme song, which is really exciting. Ready, go.
Bum bum bum. It's Star.
Yeah, I feel like that was really good.
Yeah.
It took us like 3 hours to record it. You'll see it on the next pod. How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm really good. I'm so
Yeah?
happy to be here. I've dreamt about this day. I've watched all of your podcasts.
Oh my gosh, I know.
to
You're
this
the
moment.
you're my only friend that does that. Not even
Oh.
my family watches them all. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't believe you. I feel like everybody watches them.
Wow. Okay. So this is iconic for so many reasons. One, Po'ai,
Yes.
which we love very dearly and is a sponsor of Miss Hawaii. But like, I've been coming here for so many years. I feel like you have too. Or was it when you were Miss Hawaii you came here first?
Well, actually, I didn't live here when Hawaii became a thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But once I heard about it when we ran for Miss Hawaii together, then I started coming here.
Yeah. So that's where I want to start. Is how did we meet?
We met at Miss Hawaii 2023
Wow.
competition in when was the orientation? I think it was the same exact time as or right before the pageant.
Yeah.
At Ala Moana Hotel at
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Everyone's like lugging in all of their stuff, and we're just like
Yeah.
meeting the girls, but you're also like in a competitive mode. I don't know.
Right.
It was so weird.
Yeah. I think it was like the first time I had been in full glam in 10 years.
Which is gnarly.
Yeah.
And you had just moved home, what, months before that?
Oh yes, months before that. I moved home in September of 2022, and we competed together. That was March or February. Yeah.
And then long story short, it ended up being me and Hayley at the very end,
Yes.
waiting.
Yes.
And I get asked this question a lot. I don't know if you do, like what we were talking about.
Oh, we were talking about cocktails.
Yeah. At Po'ai.
At
We were like,
Po'ai!
we're going to Po'ai after. What cocktails are we going to have?
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Yeah.
That's true. I was talking about how I'm a whiskey gal,
Yes.
and here we are.
I know. Is there whiskey in your glass?
There's absolutely whiskey in my glass.
And cheers to us. Boom.
look
Miss
at how
Hawai
cute
is
these glasses
I know,
are.
right? De Rose Designs. Thank
Is this
you.
rambutan? Is that what this is called? Or is it raffia?
Rambutan is a fruit. This is called rattan. So, yeah, good job. That's what you get for going public school. No, I'm just kidding. Come in. No, where'd you go?
Yes, come out.
Okay, yeah, might as well be public.
Oh.
No.
Okay,
sorry.
put
No,
a hole.
Imoa.
Oh, tuna ho.
Ah, I know. Wait, tell them about that man that we met the other day at brunch. That you said that to, and the wife was all like mortified.
Well, he was visiting for his 40th high school reunion.
Punahou reunion.
Punahou reunion.
And I was wearing a
And-
Punahou sweatshirt.
Yes.
So he clocked me and said something about it.
Yes, and I said, "Oh, tuna ho," because it's like the theme song. What are you guys called? What is it called? Anyway.
Yeah.
And
Explain what tuna ho. Go ahead.
I think
explain
we all
it
know
in
what
words.
tuna is.
Oh, okay.
Google is free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, ChatGPT. But the wife.
But the wife, her face was like I just insulted in the most horrific way, her
Yeah.
husband. But he laughed. So as long as he thought it was funny.
He thought it was funny. She thought that we were like creating hate speech and like that they
he
were
did.
about to be aggressed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
By
It's
two brown tittas. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought we were being nice.
We were.
Yeah.
Diving into the first year that you ran for Miss Hawaii when I ran with you. One, instantly, Hayley was like one of the only, I should just talk to you. You were one of the only people that were, I just connected with, you know, and like you can just tell people who are there for organic reasons versus other reasons. And pageants are all for all people, right? I don't discriminate, you know that. But it was refreshing to see you there and to get to know you. And you were such an encourager. And then you would go on next year to win, you know. But I kind of want to start by talking about what changed, you know, because there's a lot of women who run year after year after year, or like they find their year and then they talk about what changed for them. And I think that you had quite a year in between.
That's a loaded statement there, Miss Star. I think, well, when I ran for Miss Hawaii the first time, when we ran together, I felt super disconnected from home. I didn't have any friends anymore. Like, I had lived in Seattle for school and then worked through the pandemic in healthcare for 8 years. And so I didn't know anybody. And pageantry was something that I had always been a part of. And so coming back to the organization felt like coming back home. And so I was very happy to meet you and connect with you because, like you said, it was very organic and you were very down to earth. And that's what I feel like Miss America is all about. The difference between Hayley when we ran together versus Hayley when I ran, a lot of things. But I just, honestly, I had a new partner. And I felt more confident in who I was. I felt more confident in my identity. So I'm the first openly gay Miss Hawaii, but but I had not been out at home for very long, right? Because I had just moved home. And I came from Seattle, like a very liberal, very accepting place. So coming home to my conservative family was difficult. They were still loving. I don't want to discredit their effort, but it was definitely like a lot of growing pains. And in that second year being home, I was really able to just be unapologetic about who I am and who I love, because it's really, there's no choice in that. The only choice I had was choosing to love myself.
There's such a difference in being good with you off stage versus portraying it on stage.
Sure.
And I tell a lot of women and all people that it may seem perfect on stage, but there's so much work that goes behind, you know, and one of them in a big way is curating your environment.
Yeah.
You know, like how much, like, can you talk about your prep for Miss Hawaii both times, but more so like the individual work, but also curating your spaces, particularly having to say no to certain people to enter that space.
Star. Okay.
As much as
also,
you are comfortable with.
No,
I'm
yeah,
not trying
yeah,
to put
yeah.
you on the spot, but
It's
I
okay.
exactly am trying to do that.
Honestly, it's fair because you saw the whole thing unfold. For one thing, when I ran for Miss Hawaii with you, I was studying for the MCAT. So my attention was split and spread really thin. But I also was with a partner who was really critical and not very comfortable with sharing space or light with me. Not to speak badly about them, like wish them the best and hope for the best for them, but yeah. But
Blessings to all.
and
Okay,
to all a good night.
Yeah.
But my previous partner's name is Julian. Their pronouns are they, them. They're a non-binary trans person. Julian just struggled with like being in Hawaii and being white, being with someone who is so comfortable in their body. And then also when I started feeling more comfortable in my talents, more comfortable in my voice, that was very uncomfortable for them. So saying no to that person was very liberating for me. We got engaged in everything, and then I had to separate. And then I started dating my current fiance, Carmen, and she was really a big part of that healing journey. I don't think I would have had as much strength to say no to Julian if it weren't for Carmen. Hola.
Sorry, yes.
God bless you.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was just a lot of judgment and negativity, all deriving from Julian's insecurities, because but has everything to do with like their own journey, nothing to do with me. Until I was able to say like, that is your responsibility, and I will not take part in it anymore, and I will not take part of you. What's that word? Projecting that onto me. Then I feel like a switch flipped, and I had a voice all of a sudden again. The first time I ran for Miss Hawai, I felt very timid in my identity. I felt like when I answered my onstage question about the mahui, that was like the scariest thing I'd ever done. But when the second time I ran and I was talking about being openly gay, it was as easy as breathing, because that's how it is for me now, or that's how it was for me at that point.
And yes, amen, love it. And I ask that because I feel like we don't talk enough about dating realities here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we have like crazy domestic violence statistics. It's like, I think 1 in every 3 people will experience dating violence in their lifetime. And not to say that you were experiencing dating violence, but I mean just unhealthy relationship.
Totally.
I feel like it's not talked about in Hawaii. Like, what is the norm? Specifically, like, what is our threshold for abuse, but emotional abuse? And I just feel like you are an amazing woman who's made choices to choose herself. So that's kind of why I wanted you to talk about that. And you work in like a wellness space. Can you talk a little bit about, and we'll get to like the whole science medical stuff. Hayley's a big nerd.
Huge nerd.
Science. But like more mentally, like do you have a lot of women or men who are coming in like experiencing abuse?
I mean, not that they're open to share. Right. But I have seen a lot of it. I mean, I experienced a lot of it growing up, which is why I was in foster care.
Yeah.
And I mean, my relationships here had never really gotten abusive. Maybe I have to dig into that one. But I mean, other than my relationship with Julian, but like I think Julian wasn't from here, so I feel like that's a bit separate. They were still abusive, but not physically, you know. But like, yeah, it does. There's a normal blanket that wraps up how abusive families can look like.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, for example, like my mom was a single mom, and I honestly, like, I think that she just had been dealt some unfair cards. My younger sister was diagnosed with cancer. She's okay now. She's thriving. She's going to be a nurse practitioner.
She's alive. She's in the room.
Alive. She's thriving.
Shout
I
out
always
to you,
forget to
Addie.
say that. I always forget to say that she's fine.
People are like, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, she's alive.
No,
alive.
she's really great. Yeah. And then my mom went through a difficult divorce, and then she still had to be a mom to a teenager and then a younger daughter who had just gone into remission. So all that to say, I think my mom had a different emotional burden than other parents in Hawaii, but then the outlash onto children is so normal here, right? And like, there are different levels of that, and there are obviously examples of healthiness. But I think in my situation, my mom didn't feel supported because there wasn't a space to talk about that, right? And so it became unhealthy.
Right. And that's why it's so important to create spaces.
Yeah.
But, you know, to people who may not understand exactly, like, your mom's in your life now, you know, which is maybe atypical for somebody who was put into foster care at such a young age, and like rekindled that type of relationship.
I was 14.
14.
Yeah, I was 14.
Do you mind talking about how that all started?
Yeah. So, honestly, my mom she was in a rough spot emotionally and financially, because she had just gone through a divorce and was still recovering emotionally from my sister's diagnosis, and also financially, I think, from her medical bills. And I think she just wanted some time and space to just be a human and not have to single parent. And so I was 14, and I was like a normal teenage girl, but she just was like, Hayley, we were fighting all the time. And she was like, Hayley, you need to leave. You have to go. And conveniently, we knew a foster mom from my halal growing up, who my mom consulted about like putting me into voluntary foster care. And she was like, don't put her in voluntary foster care because you don't have control, like you lose all parental rights. So that auntie, her name is Tracy, she took me, and those are my Hanai foster parents that I still have a relationship with now. Rekindling my relationship with my mom, honestly, it happened on and off throughout college. I stayed in the foster home through most of high school, although when I was Miss Hawaii's Outstanding Teen, I came home. There was, like, winning the Miss Hawaii's Outstanding Teen title meant that I had to have a parent, like a legal guardian, and so my mom was there. But also, like, the scholarship program awarded me finances that, like, helped my mom a little bit.
Was that hard for you?
Yes. Although I owe a lot of the emotional healing journey to my foster mom.
Yeah.
Auntie Tracy.
And look, I want to just like blanket, like I don't have like straightforward upbringing, you know, and my dad wasn't really around, and I asked all these questions because we don't talk enough about healing. I mean, you and I talk a lot about healing together, but I mean, like as a community, you know, and I think it's okay to say things that might feel weird to come out, but like my dad, am I working on still forgiving him? Absolutely. Do I love him and have a great relationship with him now? Yeah, I'm grateful for it. You know, so like I'm asking these things knowing that you love your mom and your parents and you have a relationship, but it doesn't mean that it didn't affect you, how things played out, you know? And then I can only imagine being kicked out and welcomed back when you've achieved a public accolade that is so much on your namesake, that it becomes a conversation. Well, oh, you're not her birth mother? Where's your mom? You know, and did you talk a lot about being a foster kid when you ran for Miss Hawaii's? Not at all.
Not allowed. Yeah. It was from my mom, my biological mom. It was just too raw. And I honestly, in my mom's defense, I didn't know how to talk about it in a way that wasn't just angry.
Yeah.
That didn't just make me look like an angry teenager.
Right.
And I was very angry for a long time with my mom. But you're right. Like we don't talk enough about it. There isn't enough space, or there hasn't been space, and I'm finding myself having a hard time right now because like I remember bringing these things to my school counselors and to my teachers, and feeling like their knee-jerk reaction was to defend my mom when they didn't know the full situation. So I'm like actively working through it. This is what it looks like, everyone.
But you're such a beautiful example of working through.
Thank you.
I feel like I've gotten to talk to you in different seasons of your life for the last 2 or 3 years. And I am inspired by the way that you move and the choices that you have made.
Thank you.
Personally.
Thank you.
And it's not easy. Then now, specifically right now, because you're looking at 5 people over there and I'm looking at a brick wall. It's like, it's just you and me. But it's between you, me, and all those people. So I know. Love you guys. Thank you. So I know it's hard. And I actually didn't plan on diving into all that. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot.
That's okay. This is good stuff. No one's
Yeah,
ever
just
asked me all of those questions. Yeah. Other than my therapist.
But that's the thing, like, all of the interviews we do as Miss Hawaii, you talk about the work you're doing, the things that you've like accomplished, and like it's always positive, and not in a negative way, like I have to put on a face, because you do, but you're excited to talk about it. You've been awarded this achievement to talk about the things that you want to talk about, and you don't want to relive your trauma. You don't want to constantly bring it up and for that to be the focal point. You want your things to be the focal point.
My trauma was the focal point for a lot of my year, or at least my my queerness was the focal point for, especially my Miss America interview.
Ooh, okay, talk about it. One, because yes, first openly gay Miss Hawaii is bang, 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 sickening. But then yeah, Miss America, Miss America, whoo,
Indeed.
crazy.
Yeah. It was, so, I mean, I got a lot of questions. I hit all of my must-dares, but I definitely hit the openly gay one a lot more than the others. There was one, the very last question they asked me was, does the crown need you, or do you need the crown?
Oh,
The very last question I was
that's a
leaving.
gnarly question. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. And I was like, I think the crown needs me, because I think representation is so healing. It's like authenticity is literally the only job we have as humans. We're the only ones that have to live with ourselves. We're the only ones that have to look at ourselves in the mirror, and finding ways to make that easier for other people is the whole point. I think that Miss America should be an example of somebody who has been through that work, who says, I'm going to do the hard stuff because it's what's right, because it's what's pono, and not just because it's what's glamorous and easy.
When has there been a line where it's been hard for you to make that choice? Like, because we say, this is what it means to be Miss Hawaii, this is what I strive to be. And where have you found, like, I don't even want to say a deficit, but like where it's hard sometimes because we paint this picture of our goals, and everyone sees Miss Hawaii as a certain way, right?
The tita wanting to come out all the time, especially when, especially on social media, like when people would hide behind a screen and say something crazy out of
Yeah,
left
you guys
field.
got a lot of hate, you and Carmen.
We did get a lot of hate. So right after I won Miss Hawaii, Carmen posted a video of me being the first openly gay one, and it blew up. Like, it got almost 1 million views.
Famous. Maybe shout me out on Instagram.
Just stop it right now. I shout you out all the time. You don't respond. Anyway. Please eat the mic. ASMR. And people would say things like, you're too pretty to be gay, or...
Oh, gosh.
I know. Or you just look like a drag queen with all that makeup on. Or they would just, like, laugh. Be like, that this is so hilarious, like, when are you guys gonna give it up? Like,
oh my God.
you just haven't found the right man, you know.
God. Yeah.
All this and that. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, how I deal with the tita not coming out.
Yeah.
It took all of me not to, like, respond in paragraphs being like, you have no idea. Like, you have no idea how much easier it is for you to sit behind a screen and laugh or send crying emojis. And you also have no idea what that says about you. How embarrassing.
And that was on TikTok, right?
On TikTok.
TikTok is a scary place.
Yeah.
Where people are just mean. Nobody's mean like that on Instagram.
That's not true.
Oh, they're not mean on Instagram too?
They're also mean on
okay.
Instagram. But I don't have as many followers on Instagram, so.
Less people are mean on Instagram.
Less.
How about that? Yeah.
Well, to me.
Right.
But
Oh,
other
okay.
people are mean on Instagram.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Next question. Oh, I'm asking the questions. No.
But I mean, that representation has been so powerful. Actually, earlier today, I got off a phone call with another one of the contestants that ran for Miss America this year. And she was talking to me, or one of the teen contestants, and she was talking to me about how difficult it was to be herself in her home, and how, like, she was not accepted by her family. But then when she saw me and Carmen at Miss America, she's in tears, because she's like, this love that you two experience is something that's possible. This is something that I can have one day. And, like, all it took was me and Carmen just being with each other and, like, choosing to love each other despite how scary it had been, you know? And that's why we do it. Yeah. And that's why it's important to just do the scary and hard thing. I don't know that how's me? I'm gonna be like, it was really easy for me to choose the hard thing, but all year long. But I don't know. I think it was because I had so many supporters that I felt so embraced all year to be unapologetically me, to be authentic. And I think there's also that fuel of, I finally got to this space where I'm standing up for me and only me. I finally feel in the pocket of standing up for myself. And there was nobody that could take that feeling away from me. So I was just like, no scared, I'm go get them. I was just gonna go.
I love that. I love you. You're iconic. Hayley's got to be like, and no tea, no shade. Like, she's really my favorite Miss Hawaii. Because you are everything, like, growing up, what I thought like Miss Hawaii is. If you've never seen her talent for Miss Hawaii, it was the most iconic effing thing that I've ever effing seen in my life. And I will die. The minutes before I die, I will restream this video of her. Because it was just like, it was everything. And I'm not going to spoil it unless you want to sing it and dance it right now.
Right this second.
Yeah. No.
You have a head mic ready for me.
Go look it up.
Oh,
yeah.
Go look it up.
Yeah. No, you're like, oh, and stand up. No, right there. What was I even saying?
That I'm your favorite Miss Hawaii.
You are.
Yeah.
What did you say before that?
No scared, I'm go get them.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And before that? Wait, I'm almost there. I had a point. I probably had a point. And Carmen. No, I have it now.
Carmen, it was okay. Carmen.
You choosing yourself, and like being confident in who that is, and you had done all that work behind the scenes to get there. Can you talk about the boundary with being sure of yourself, but still allowing space for feedback? Who do you allowed feedback from, and who like you shouldn't have allowed it from? Because for context, my therapist likes to say a lot, I'm really confident about myself until someone else is confident about the same thing. A big truck. Sorry. Butterfly. I'm really confident about something until someone else is really confident about it. And then I'm like, oh no, wait, should I change what I'm thinking? And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, I can be so sure until maybe I'm not, depending on who it comes from.
Tough stuff, Star.
Sorry.
I was really curious about what you were going to ask me, and you really sure have stumped me.
I try to surprise.
You did. You surprised me.
Because we get the same question all year.
It's true.
It's like, and they're great questions, and it's important. And that's what the legacy of Miss Hawaii is, the impact on community. It's not about this part.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be. But going through it all, I know that there is this part. So, that's why I pose the hard questions. But it's just between you and me.
Oh, just between you and
all
me.
of the internet.
Forever.
Good thing you're stunning.
Good thing you're stunning.
Oh my God.
With all of your pua on.
I know, these are plastic. Right?
No,
I shouldn't have said that.
No one
I know.
had to
Sorry.
know.
Can we cut that? No. He said no. Okay, back to my hard-hitting question.
Who did I take good feedback from?
Yeah.
Honestly, the people that I asked for feedback from, I didn't ask feedback from anybody that I wasn't ready to receive feedback from. Now, if somebody was giving me unsolicited advice that I thought was good, like I'm always eager to learn more and be better, to sharpen. And I feel like that's the yumminess of pageantry. Like that's the good stuff. That's why you do it, right? You do it because it's like a pressure cooker of life. You get all of your insecurities and all the things all the cracks and crevices about you get put on display with bright spotlights. And then you just get smacked down, broken down to pieces, and then you fill in all the spaces, right? And then you just become a complete person by the end of the year, and then you're perfect forever, right?
Oh, the joy of pageantry.
But I mean, no, but seriously, it's like a pressure cooker of growth.
Yeah.
And I went into it knowing that if I'm gonna ask feedback, I better be ready for the most brutal gay man feedback I could ever get, because you know she's gonna tear you to shreds, but she's only gonna tear you to shreds.
La 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 la.
She's only gonna tear you to shreds because she cares.
Yeah.
Right. But I never asked feedback from somebody that I didn't know and trust cares about me. You know. When I got things that I didn't like, I would be like, "Ooh, where's the truth in that? How can I take that in stride?" Because on one hand, everybody's gonna have an opinion, but you're always just trying. I was always trying to find ways to hear people and like look in the mirror, but also take what sticks and what works and leave the rest. Right?
Is there one of those that you got that you haven't let go of? That's still something you work through, something that hurt you, something that's like you're not sure about?
Oh, I got my fitness was average after state. Yeah, I was like, oh.
Who said that?
I don't
tell me
know.
later.
It was like, it was in my judge's feedback. So I don't know
Oh.
which judge said it. I think it was like unanimously. They were all like, in comparison to Miss America, you are average.
In terms of your body?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like my fitness level.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 It's okay. People call me fat all year.
That's
So, like,
such,
you were sickening.
that's such baloney to me.
But I was not the average size of pageant girl.
You're also much taller.
Yeah, but she's soft around the edges.
And we love that about her.
Yeah, I'm not so mad about it anymore. I think my first pageant I ever did, which was Miss Chinatown, where this was the municipal land that belonged to me. Chinatown, welcome to my land. But the most terrifying thing to me was looking fat on stage. And that was a huge focal point for my training.
Oh.
Because I had never imagined I would ever even do a pageant. So I had worked so hard for 4 months. I was the skinniest I had ever been. I looked sickening.
You did. Can I be honest? I stalked you.
No way.
I interrupted you, but
No, go.
I stalked you when I was scoping out the competition for Miss Hawaii.
Gagged.
I came across your Miss Chinatown competition because the whole thing was posted, and I was like, oh, gosh darn it.
Oh my gosh.
No, I was like, oh, she might win.
Crazy. And we kind of had the same pageant coach.
Did we?
I mean, Paul
helped you?
Paul helped me a little bit, like to meet Miyuki, my dressmaker, and stuff like that. But it wasn't so intensive. Where he was like, he's more of your coach. I feel like we never coached, but that's also something funny. But anyway, I was so skinny, and I was so fixated on that. And then when I won, I was like, oh, maybe it's not about only that thing, you know, because the most feedback I got wasn't about how I looked, but was about how it made people feel.
Yes.
Because for context too, my talent was spoken word poetry about losing my mom. And it was very emotional. And I had tried to dance, little tangent. I was like, I'm going to dance Tahitian, I guess. I danced Tahitian one time in my life, and I was average at it, right? But you think, like, what do you do on a stage in a pageant? Like, you have to do something. And then I was practicing, and I was going to classes, and it just felt so inauthentic. And I thought, you know what? I just have a feeling that these stage lights is going to shine through all my bullshit. I cannot fake it. Sorry. You can swear on this.
Oh, you can?
Totally.
I'm traumatized.
Yeah. Sorry. It's my show. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, boom.
Flash your coochie if you want.
Oh.
I'll put like a picture of my face instead there. Be like, oh, like as the blurb.
There's too many clothes on. This is
You've
a
got
jumpsuit.
pants on. It's actually so cute. Sickening. Okay, anyway, back to me. Enough about you.
Yeah, sorry, trying to steal the show here.
What was I even saying? Oh, and I thought there's no way that I can do. It's gonna show. This is not me. And at that point, journaling had really saved my life, like coming out of mourning my mom.
Yeah.
And so I took my journal entries and I made a poem out of it. I had like only done that once in my life. And so that was my my talent. And it was so crazy because other girls are going on with like the gujang and they're singing and they're like doing like flag dancing, you know, it's very, and like cheerleading, and it's very happy. And then I get on in an evening gown and I like cry and give my thing. But it was me. And the most feedback I got that year was about that. And so it really started changing my mind about, I don't need to be stick skinny. Maybe having an impact doesn't need to have a specific look. And I held that all the way. And like each pageant I did, I was a little bit fatter than the last. Which is like, you know, and I did pretty good for myself. So whatever.
You did phenomenally.
Girls gotta eat.
You do need to eat, and that's exactly the way to push the needle. I gotta be honest, the first day that we remember when we had rehearsals, the first day of Miss Hawai week, and the first thing we did was talent. You did your talent and the whole room was in tears. Do you remember that? And you walked off and you were like kind of in your head. But I was like, you were phenomenal.
It was so intimidating because we're in 24/7. It's like a dance studio and everyone's just lined up, 21 girls lined up on the mirror, like this close to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you're doing this thing. And for me, it was so vulnerable. And like, I don't just like practice it. Like anytime I do my spoken word, it's never just easy. You can't just turn it on, which is a reason why I didn't do my talent once my Miss Hawai year. Like I didn't ever perform it anywhere else. Because it felt, and I didn't know so much about like that's what you're supposed to do is do your talent, but it just felt weird to get up on a stage and be so vulnerable because it wasn't just about something that I wrote about. It was like the worst moment that had ever happened to me, and my only mission was to make people feel like it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
Looking back, I wish I had done it more or like found places to do it, but yeah, it was really, really hard for me.
Yeah.
So doing it with all these girls who are judging me, you know, and wondering, like evaluating me was terrifying. Sizing me up.
Yeah.
Felt like, and that was the first time I felt sized up.
Oh.
When we're doing the talents, you know.
Really? Not in high school?
Oh no, I mean in for Miss Hawai, like in my run. I was like, because we're all watching each other.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I wasn't like, nobody was sizing me up in high school. I was like double everybody's weight and height, like for my entire life.
Wow.
I went to school with like Asian people.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
I knew one person that went to Bono. And
now you know two.
Now I know two.
Yeah.
Also, my dad went to Bono.
No, what? You just told me that actually last week.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
My dad and his sisters went to Bono.
Okay. Yeah. We don't have like a ku'e, like imua thing, but.
Tuna.
You can leave now. Okay, what were we talking about?
Emotion, vulnerability.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about me. Yeah, enough about me. Back to you.
No.
I want you to talk about dancing hula the first year, and then choosing to change your talent.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to sing and dance the first year, but the feedback that I got from my coaches was they're going to judge both talents. So like it's better to just do one instead of having your scores split between two different, like you could get scored lower that way. But when I danced when I did anything that year, it was more about like, oh my gosh, I just want to do well. I don't believe in myself. My self-talk was not very good the first year. And when I came back, it was my last year of eligibility.
I didn't know. Did I know that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
Maybe. I know it now for sure.
I'm older than you, Star.
Yes.
Oh, just by 1 year.
Okay, first of all, I look freaking 45 and you look 22.
You
so
literally don't. When I said you were an auntie, I was joking.
Yeah, the other night we're out and she's like, God, you're such an auntie. What else you got in your purse? And I was like, thank you. I know.
She had a hook that she put on the chair to stabilize her auntie. That is
my purse doesn't have feet. It can't touch the ground.
No purse. You just put it on the ground.
I mean, I do put it on the ground, but whatever. She called me out in public in front of people I was just meeting. It's all love.
I aspire to be anti-status. One also part of the reason I ran Miss Hawaii was for this Miss Hawaii bracelet.
Oh yeah,
Because
bomb.
because my Hawaiian bracelet with my name on it got stolen when I was living in Seattle.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
You know, this is the first one that I've ever had with my name on it.
No, that's crazy.
The one I had in high school when I turned 18, this is my grandma's that they got
wow.
resized, which is not barreled. It's so old.
Oh wow.
And so that was my first one.
Boom.
A sleigh, right?
That is slay.
Okay, you were talking about something else too. Oh, hula and the singing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got the Hawaiian bracelet, but I really wanted to talk about that.
No,
Anyways.
talk about your Hawaiian bracelet then.
Well, yeah, so part of the reason no, this was about anti-status. I aspire to be anti-status, and this sound right here is anti-status to me.
Wait, yours is better than mine.
So I meant anti as a compliment.
Oh, okay, sleigh.
Yeah. You took it as a dig.
No, it's a little bit of both. Let's talk in 12 months when you're 1 year out of your Miss Hawaii. You'll be full auntie already.
I feel like I'm already full anti.
You might be pregnant by then.
Oh.
Lesbians can get pregnant. You heard it here first.
Sure can. Looking for sperm donors. Apply below.
Click this link if you want to be a sperm donor for Miss Hawaii 2024. Hayley Cheyney-Kāne. Taking applications.
Carmen's looking away. Okay, perfect.
Okay, back to what we were talking about. Which
Are we both Portuguese? Maybe so.
Yeah. Are you Portuguese?
I am totally Portuguese.
Yes. Like
I'm
blood or condition.
blood.
Ah, sickening.
Remember in my onstage question, I said half Caucasian, a quarter Hawaiian, and a quarter plantation mix. That included Portuguese.
I like when you say plantation mix. That's funny.
Well, thank you.
And you're
no one
so
laughed.
elegant. When you talk, you're so elegant.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
it. I feel like when I talk, it's like, nom, nom, nom. But when you
It
talk,
really
it's
only
like,
sounds like that
la,
when you
la,
say.
la, la, la. You know? I'm like, wow, she's so sickening, and I am so, and you're so graceful. I love
It's
it.
just not true.
No, it is.
The reason why that your mom told you that you're good at speaking is because you're actually good at speaking and you're good at leading a conversation. I feel like it's. Oh, I listened to your podcast. Is that
Thanks. You're
stalking?
on it right now.
I know. But you were telling your story about how that's what your mom said and how you were feeling like you wanted to be good at a sport, and your mom was like, you're good at talking to people.
That was released today. You watched the whole thing already?
Halfway.
Oh, okay, that's regular. Yeah, okay. Wow, thanks.
But what were we talking about before that?
Hula, singing. They were like, don't do it because
Yeah.
they're going to judge you double.
Yeah. So but because it was my last year of eligibility, I was like, I'm doing everything I want to do.
Yeah.
And like, I'm leaving it all on the table. And people, like, honestly, they were all like, oh, I don't know. But I went to my kumu and I talked to her about it, and she was like she was really excited about it. And she shared my excitement with me. Despite my Monarch rehearsals, she still like scheduled one-on-ones with me to do. I know. God bless you, Kumu Tracy. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Mahalo
Kumu
nui.
Tracy. Also, Tracy, your Hanai
Mother. Tracy theme. But yeah, so Aloha Wau Oi, the song that I danced for Miss Hawaii and Miss America and sang, is about it's a love song to Hawaii, but it's also like a love song to yourself and like where you feel the most at home. And because I had gone away to Seattle and then came home, that was part of the reason why Kumu chose that song. But there's also a verse in there that I feel like has a double meaning. It says, one day the sun will shine and the flowers will say that you're mine. I took that to mean like being open and being openly gay and like the sun shining on our love and being a beautiful thing instead of being something that needs to hide or needs to be tiptoed around. Yeah.
I watched the moon tonight.
Thank you.
That's the best I got.
That was almost it.
It wasn't anywhere close, but I know that's your first move, and that is the first line. So
It's true.
I feel like
I'm making the moon. I
Yeah.
watched the moon tonight.
Keep going.
The twinkling star shone bright. I think of you, my love. Aloha wau oi.
It's almost like I was singing and dancing. I felt like I pretended.
That was you.
Wow.
Almost.
See, you're so okay. And here's, I just have to give my feedback, which I've already given, which is
Thank
not
you.
real feedback. When you opened your mouth like to sing and dance in rehearsal, I was about to give up my crown. You were running again. We're again in the same room, right? I just was like, what the hell? She could sing? When did this happen? I was like, why didn't you sing last year?
Yeah.
It was just, it was so like, and again, if you haven't seen it, you have to see it because it was the most iconic talent that I've ever seen on a stage, from Miss Hawaii to Miss America to freaking America's Got Talent. It was something that just as a Hawaiian woman was in my soul. It just was like so beautiful. You got an amazing voice. Your hula, and it wasn't, some people dance and sing and they don't combine the two. Like there's a way to do it, and you weren't full hula halal. But you danced and sang, and it just complemented itself together so well. I'm just like still in awe. That's why you're so cool. You're like, I want to be you. I want to be so much like, I just want to be you.
What?
Yeah, but I can't sing. I always felt like if I could sing, I would be like on Broadway. Like everything would be happening for me.
Oh my gosh, being on Broadway. Being on Broadway would be so cool.
Right?
I feel like we should just try out together and see what happens.
That's like our one friend who thinks that only one thing was holding them back. I say like if I could sing, I'd be on Broadway, as if it's not 1,000 other things that get you there. So, Broadway people don't get mad at me. You love Jesus. You're like a Christian girl, you know, and the church is so sometimes. And I wanted to know your take about being gay, openly Christian, loving Jesus.
Oh my gosh, I was wondering if you were going to ask me this question.
Yeah.
So I grew up rather religious. I mean, I grew up Catholic, and then my mom started dating a pastor, and toxic.
Was this before you went into foster care?
He was a part of that. Yes, but it was around the same time, actually. They met through my school. And anyway, so our family became really religious because my mom was like dating a pastor, right? And I really fell in love with the Lord. Also, the foster home that I was in, it was mandatory. We went to church every single day. Because every day.
Wow.
My foster parents were leaders in the church, and so whether it was just to do homework or like be a part of youth group, we were there. And I feel like God saved me from those dark spaces at that time. As a openly gay person, I distance myself from church, especially right now, because while I have my own relationship with the Lord, and like while I have to acknowledge the fact that God saved me a lot of times, I don't feel safe to like really engage with church right now. And I also don't have the emotional capacity to argue about it. And when I first came out, I was still a worship leader, because that's how I received scholarships in college. Like I went to school for physiology and music and was a worship leader, and that's how I paid for school. And so I was still really peely with church. But as I started to come out, like it was hard to have a candid conversation about being gay and religion. And so I just deep dove into the research, and I found out about a lot of things, like the fact that homosexuality wasn't even introduced into the Bible until the 1940s. And the more conversations I had with like family members or people in the church, like the more frustrated I got, because I was like, I don't understand why this matters so much. Especially because we're listening to parts of the Bible that we don't listen to otherwise. Did I answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I always just wondered your take on it. Yeah, because we go to church together a lot, and I just always wondered, because it's something that has become so taboo, and there's so many gay people who take people being in the church as God's word, and like at the end of the day, like God loves all people.
Yeah.
You're gay, God loves you. Boom. That's all I have to say about it, you know.
Yeah.
And like when it comes to the nitty-gritty, there's so many different interpretations of the Bible that those specific scriptures that are against homosexuality were actually more against pedophilia than it was against like homosexuality.
Exactly.
And like it's such an interesting line. You know, I was raised by my mom and her gay best friend. Like I grew up never believing that being gay was a choice. And it's interesting to be around so like Christians who I love, and like I am so Jesus, right? Like I love Jesus, and Jesus has saved my life. And it's just an interesting line to walk. But you know, we're in such a broken world, and there is no perfect way. But I mean, if at any point like people are doing things that make people feel like they cannot belong to a place, I can't prescribe to that, you know. And with church, my pastor says it a lot. You don't have to believe to belong, but we all belong. And it's ultimately about finding love for your creator, love for yourself, and love for your community, you know. And
I used to say this a lot because when I lived in Seattle, like Seattle is more, what's the word?
gay.
No.
Oh.
No. Very pro-gay.
Oh.
Very pro-gay, but more anti-church, anti-religion, than Hawaii is. But anyway, atheist. There are more atheists in Seattle than there are religious people. But the conversation that I had a lot was like, honestly, if it makes you, it's just a different lens to look at the world through, right? Like if it makes you comfortable, or not comfortable, but if it makes you better at being kind, if it makes you better at being open, if it makes you better at being compassionate, if it gives you more space to love your neighbor, then use that. But do I also think that there are other religions that can do that for you? Absolutely. I just think that if your go-to is hate, then that's a conversation to be had. And if religion makes you less susceptible to hate and more susceptible to kindness and compassion and open space, then that's a reason to go for it.
Do you feel like you've had to become kind of like a spokesperson for gayness? Like being gay in Hawaii?
I mean, I feel like I've had the honor to represent the Mahui.
Yeah.
But I specifically...
Which hilarious. When you said that, I was like, that's so clever. I love that, Mahui.
Oh, I didn't make that up. That's somebody else made that up.
But the first time I heard it was from you.
Oh, boom.
Boom.
But I specifically made my platform not about being gay because I wanted it to be something that was so normal, so it like as easy as bringing somebody home of the same sex is the same thing as bringing somebody home of the opposite sex. Like there's a reason for that. But right now there needs to be more spokespersons, and so yes, I did become more of a spokesperson. Honestly, one of the first things that happened after I came out, or after I won, was there was a mom who came up to me at an appearance that said that her kid wasn't bullied anymore because I was Miss Hawai and I was openly gay. And the kids at school that were bullying her daughter were like, oh, wait, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe it's not funny. Maybe what I'm saying is tone deaf. And that was exactly what I wanted to do, like as a representative. So yes, I became a spokesperson, but also I wasn't trying to be.
Yeah. Not only are you the first openly gay Miss Hawaii, you know, but your partner is Black. And we don't have a lot of Black people in Hawaii. And I kind of want to know how, and it should, like, I'd love to have Carmen come and talk about it too, you know, but like, I'm just wondering, like, what kind of layer that's added to your experience, both of your experiences.
Well, I don't really want to speak for Carmen. Chime in anytime, babe. But I think dating another person of color, but different than Hawaiian, is similar to dating somebody from the continent whether Black or a different ethnicity. It's all about like your ano and your heart, right? Like, do you care about Native Hawaiians? Do you care about perpetuating our culture? Do you care about what's happening here and the disenfranchising that's happening to us as Native Hawaiians? And do you see the parallel between Native Hawaiians versus what's happening on the continent? And Carmen is so easily fits all of those molds. So like, especially going from dating Julian, who is white, and that's it.
Sorry.
White is, I mean, nothing wrong with being white.
Oh, yeah, it's not about being white. They were just kind of not a great person.
They were not a great person.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being white, but they were like the
Yeah,
like,
we love whites. We love
like
white people.
but like
Are you allowed to say
Haole
whites?
in a way that was a lack of soul. Right?
Yeah.
So going from that to Carmen was like super refreshing, first of all. One, because she understands what it means to be a woman of color in America, which is not the same, but similar to what it's like to be a Native Hawaiian.
So layered that you can pick up on the subtleties that informs who we are as Native Hawaiian women, I think, right?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I mean, yeah, me too. I've been saying for a while, every time, like, I talk to Hayley and Carmen a lot about, like, relationship, and they're so open with me, but I'm always like, wow, Carmen, you need to teach a class to straight men about how to be a partner, because that's fabulous. Your wisdom, girl.
Carmen, we need you up here.
Carmen.
I feel like we're speaking for you now, and I feel awkward.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know your perspective, because that question is really for Carmen, but you know, just to address it.
I mean, I don't. The thing is that I know nothing about what it's like to be a Black woman. I know nothing about what it's like to grow up in the continent, and Carmen can say the same thing about me, like being Native Hawaiian. She has no idea about what it's like to be Native Hawaiian, what it's like to grow up in Hawaii. And so we both get to be curious about each other. We both get to make space for one another to tell our stories. And and
they're so in love, it makes me want to vomit. I'm like,
we are so in love.
no, I love it.
Get to tell our stories, and because that's the beauty of falling in love and like being in a relationship. I'm sure Michael and Peter can attest to this, right? Like, yes, making space, being curious, and always wanting to learn more about the person that they are and the person that they are becoming.
Happy Pride Month.
Because we're bridging the gap. Happy
Period.
Pride Month.
Bum. My God, sickening. Okay, back to my game. God, who brought that up?
You did.
Me.
Are you gonna drink?
I've been drinking. Yeah, I will. Okay. Would you rather be haunted by a ghost that critiques your outfits or screams every time you check your phone?
Screams every time I check my phone, because I literally leave my phone everywhere. I leave my phone like random places. Carmen's the only one that knows where my phone is located.
So I feel like I couldn't handle if I left the house. They'd be like, oh, really? Be like, gagged by not even a living creacher. Okay. Stir it up. When are you going to sing it with me? God, sing it together.
Okay, I forgot to throw this.
Oh, yeah. The other way. Thank you.
Oh, the other way?
Yeah, like over your shoulder, like
But,
salt.
but all the trash is now in the same place.
Okay, I'll pick it up after.
Yeah. Oh, you're on a game show.
Oh.
The final round is fight a clone of yourself, but slightly smarter. Smarter? What's your strategy?
Oh, for me.
Yeah, for you.
Okay, clone of myself. What's my strategy? I feel like, there we go. I feel like I would instantly run up and I would hit in the throat right here, boom, and then I would go right into the eyes. Because I've always wanted to do that to somebody, but I've never been in a situation where I'm like allowed to. And I saw Melissa McCarthy do it one time on TV, and I feel like when I see things on TV, I want to do it in real life, right?
Especially if Melissa McCarthy did it.
If she did it, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
To strangers. So I just want to go boom, boom, you know, and just see what happens. I feel like that would catch me really off guard if I did it to myself. And then I would laugh, but I'd also be in pain. But it would also bring me joy because I'd be like, girl, you finally got to do it. But bummer it was to yourself.
But not you, it's the other you.
Right, the other me.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I would just like double boob punch, boom. Because I was like, oh my God. Like brutal. You'd think when you fight yourself, there are boundaries. So I would instantly go to like no boundaries.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
So
You're not allowed to ask questions.
I have no chi-chis and you have chi-chis. So like, do boob punches still hurt, or
Depends
is there
if
like
you're
more
PMSing.
cushion?
No, it's not
I
just a
see.
cushion. Like when you have boob pain, it's the whole thing still. You know, it's like it doesn't make it more comfortable. It's like, ugh. And then because mine are saggy too, it like the weight of it also hurts.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's like it just makes it honestly makes it worse. And my breast size drastically changes with my weight.
Depending on how much you weigh.
Yeah, when I'm really skinny, they're small and really deflated. But when I'm fuller, they're really full. And like when I wrap a towel around me and I'm like this, I can feel. I'm like, whoa.
Brum.
Yeah. So it's not so fun. If they were perky, they'd be like a sleigh. But they're at my belly button. So. And it's okay.
I just don't believe you.
No, do you want to see? No, not for you guys. If your breasts go to your belly button, it's okay. You're seen, you're heard. Portuguese women, that's just what happens. We have soft skin. And it's okay. I see you, I feel you, and I hold space for you. Hold my finger.
Love your body. You are
feel
safe.
held.
Are you gonna fart?
No, it was like a wicked moment. It was a.
No potions.
Can we have a round of applause for Pono Potions?
It's the live audience for me.
No, I love a live audience. Yeah, this segment, which I love, was brought to you by Pono Potions. Boom. Coffee and cocktail syrups. And if you've never been to Po'ai, it's in Chinatown, which is the best place on the planet. And it's gorgeous and stunning, and we have the privilege of filming in this place. So come by. They've got the best coffee I've ever had. And they take private parties if you want to come have something over here.
They also have the Ulu and Kalo Bakery, which has the best gluten-free.
All gluten-free, yeah. It's Ulu flour, and she uses what, date sugar? What is it?
Date syrup. But natural sugars. Natural sugars that are.
It's not like cane.
And the reason,
vegan,
the reason you want to use natural sugars, coconut sugar. The reason, coconut has a lower glycemic index. Glycemic index is related to how quickly your body metabolisms the sugar. The more processed it is, the more quickly it's used in your body. The lower glycemic index, the slower it's used in your body. Anyway, coconut sugar is better for you. And Ulu and Kalo Bakery uses that.
Let's talk about my glycemia.
Glycemic index? Glycemia?
Your
glucose?
Just making a joke.
Oh, too much. Got it.
Hi! There's a big window there.
Hi!
Hi! Oh, thank you. So sweet. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Bye, Auntie. She was so cute.
She is so sweet.
She was like, you guys are like so pretty.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I know. She's probably talking to you.
No, she was definitely looking straight at you the whole time.
Let's see what other good questions I have.
I love this about you.
La la la. La.
La la la.
Yeah, sing me a song.
La 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 la.
What did I not talk to you about?
You know who actually can sing really well? It's Oz. He also can do a stitch.
Oh, Oz. Oz is filming everything right now. He set all of this up. Not the set, but the cameras and the lighting. Give us a little song, Oz. Thank you, Oz.
Thank you.
Hammer.
Thank you.
And he does a Lilo voice. Bro, you could be a voice actor.
Stitch. That was Stitch.
Same thing, whatever.
Okay.
It's all animation. I've been drinking. Oh, actually, I did want to know if... Wait, we never talked about Miss America.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my question about Miss America.
That's what I want to know.
Did you ever feel tokenized as either one, being gay, or two, being native?
Totally. I think... I mean, I could never get a feel for how the girls felt about me being gay or me being the only native one. I mean, there were plenty of women of color, but I definitely was the only native one. I mean, other than Puerto Rico.
Yeah. And by you mean colors, like they're white or they're black?
or Mexican, or just larger minority populations, or more prevalent minority populations in the continent.
Like more indigenous cultures.
Yeah, than Native Americans.
Yeah.
I definitely was the only Native Hawaiian. Duh. But I think I was also the only Native American.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we had so little time to chat that we didn't really chat. They had a lot of questions about my queerness, not so many questions about Hawaii. Although in comparison to when I went for Miss America's Outstanding Teen, like they had lots of questions about Hawaii. Like, do you ride a dolphin? Do you live in a grass shack? Do you take a canoe to school? And is Hawaiian its own language? As Miss, like most of them already understood that all of those were, they could answer those questions for themselves. And I feel like they were mostly curious about how I dealt with being the first openly gay Miss Hawaii. I talked more about just like authenticity and being myself, and I made a lot of friends that way because I think that people felt safer with me. I don't know that I felt tokenized as much because I didn't really get close with, like, I didn't spend enough time with them to feel like that. Or I didn't notice, which is very real. Yeah. I also talked a lot about my, like, the wellness things that, I think you asked me a wellness question and I didn't answer it earlier. But I talked a lot about, like, Carmen's mom and how she passed away from a heart attack at only 45 years old. Because at the time I was in the pocket of my interviewing, and I was so interested in being tuned in with yourself, or preaching the idea that you are tuned in with yourself so much so that you cannot make poor decisions for your health, physically, mentally, emotionally. And that tied into being authentically me by being openly gay, by being a health advocate, by being a total science nerd, all of that. And I think that the friends that I made at Miss America just saw all of that tied up as Hayley.
You talk a lot about Carmen's mom, and I want to know how that changed you.
Yeah, so Carmen's mom was 45 when she passed away from a heart attack. She was a nurse. She had just gotten bariatric surgery, and she was just doing all the right things. I work at Waimanalo Health Center. I am a preventative medicine educator, and I work years with patients to take the steps that she was taking in her life. And then she passed away suddenly. She just didn't wake up one day, and it broke my heart so significantly. One, because I loved her. Like, she was a vibrant person that was so kind. Two, because she's my partner's mom, who was 21 at the time. And I just think it's very tragic to lose a mother that young. And then I just was lit on fire to prevent that from happening to all these other people. I'm like, when I went to work and when I won Miss Hawaii, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you guys need to know about this. You need to know about the fact that if you start too late, then it will be too late. And you can prevent your life from being lost too soon by making these decisions now. Care about your body now. And I had been in medicine for like 4 years at that point already. So yeah, but Auntie Tita, I call her. She was just so loving, so kind. She was a nurse. She was a hilarious, hilarious lady. And she was the kind of mother that, like, I always wished I had.
Well, in contrast to your experience with your mom, I'm curious if experiences with Carmen's mom ever made you realize certain things about your own upbringing that maybe weren't okay, or
Totally.
like it was those moments that made you go, oh, maybe that wasn't right.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, so Auntie Tita and I had similar upbringings, which is why we had that closeness so quickly. She was sent to foster care. She had a difficult relationship with her mother. I went to school with bruises every day. She went to school with bruises every day. She was like, CPS intervened in her life. CPS intervened in my life. And so we understood each other in a way that I didn't know if anybody ever would understand me. And she was much older. She had grown, she had children, and she had been successful in not passing that intergenerational trauma on to them. And so she was someone that I was looking up to very earnestly. So that loss was felt by me deeply.
And so hard to lose someone who's such a pillar.
Yeah.
My mom was kind of that way, like not only was she a pillar in my life, but I would come to find out later from other people that she was a pillar in theirs. And it makes me sad and happy at the same time to know that, someone recently told me that success is about impact, not about your accolades.
Totally.
And that really hit me in a different way, because I thought, wow, my mom worked her butt off to send me to school, to do all these things, and I'd say, yeah, she's successful, but I knew she had big dreams that she sacrificed for me. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't talk to someone or experience something that just shows me how successful she was because of her impact. Yeah. And it sounds like Carmen's mom was the same way.
Exactly. So, like, in my farewell video, I said it's not, the impact is not in the sparkle of the crown as Miss Hawai, but in the souls you touch. And it was really Auntie Tita that taught that to me, right? Like, you can, it doesn't matter what you have going on, how many letters you have behind your name, how many degrees you have under your belt. It's about how you treat people and how people feel when they are interacting with you. That's how they remember you. That's how you make long-lasting impressions on people. And even after Auntie passed away, like, there were people reaching out for months and months, right, babe? About your mom and how much they loved her and how many lives. Like, it was an overwhelming outpour of people who had so many positive things to say. And it sounds like it was the same thing with your mom. How come those people gotta go so fast? Brah.
Just this morning, I was on the phone with Spectrum, because somehow we pay $300 for cable and home phone that we don't even watch or use. So I'm trying to change it, right? But it's still in her name. So I had to like log onto her phone and her laptop that I haven't really touched, and going in there, and I open up the camera roll. And, my mom died maybe like 2 or 3 weeks after my birthday, my 23rd birthday. Similar age to Carmen. And whatever, I do the thing with Spectrum, and then I had my therapy appointment with my therapist, and I was like, fresh in my mind, I had just opened up my phone her phone, and I saw pictures that she had taken of me, like on the last birthday that we had together. And then I see videos that she'd taken, like selfie videos of the decorations, and like, she had cancer and was a shell of who she was, and it was so, it just wasn't her anymore, But I was sharing this, and it's funny, like, I can talk about my whole entire platform of Miss Hawai was about losing my mom and overcoming that pain. But there are still moments that pop up in the wildest of times that just hit you different. And I'm just sharing that with my therapist, and she starts crying. And I'm like, you never cry, girl. What's going on? And, we shared this moment today.
That was today?
Yeah, today, this morning. Not only reflecting, but just like reminiscing. And like, some moments are heavier than others, and grief is something that
makes no sense, you know, and like why they leave. It doesn't make any sense. And then also, she's the only reason I ran for Miss Hawaii, which has opened so many doors and has been a God gift. And you think, wow, how could, it's hard for something so horrific to be the cause of something that's brought so much impact and joy. But that's just the complexity and maybe even juxtaposition of life, you know. But what matters is the love, you know, like you and Carmen and all of us as friends in this room, like the love and the relationships that you can build with people, and you and I, like that's what matters.
But also, like, you are the person that you are, and you have such a heart for people, and you're so good at making intentional time for people because of the lasting impression that your mom left on you. And it doesn't make sense, and it totally sucks, but like losing your mom did a lot of growing for you, right? Like in that grieving process, you grew into this nurturer that is so kind, that automatically, without even thinking about it, creates space for people to be and heal. I know for Carmen that like watching you do that for her was so relieving for me, because I don't know how to do that. I didn't lose a parent. I don't understand what that feels like. But because you went through that, you understand how to help others heal in a way that they need so desperately.
Thanks.
Sure.
Sure. It's funny because you think that going through something makes you like more equipped, and really it makes you more clueless, because I actually know that nothing I say will change anything about someone's journey.
Well, that's true wisdom, right? Like knowing that
you don't know
You don't
nothing.
know anything.
Okay, pivot, because I'll cry.
Oh, you're safe. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. But I want to know, this is your interview, not mine. Kind of wrapping up, final questions I'm really curious about how the title of Miss Hawaii has changed for you. You know, it's one thing going in, and I imagine it was one thing when you were a teen. But what's different about how you see Miss Hawaii now? And maybe something you've learned.
Compared to teen, or just like after having been Miss Hawaii?
More like when you won versus now.
I saw Miss Hawaii as unattainable before I won. Or it was something that like I really had to practice convincing myself I was worthy of. And now I feel comfortable in saying, oh yeah, I'm Miss Hawaii, like, or I'm Miss Hawaii 2024. And I deserve to be in this legacy. I deserve to be among these women that I admire, and I'm allowed to contribute, and I'm allowed to receive the
police are coming.
I'm
coming
allowed
for
to
you.
receive the
Sorry, no, keep going. Yeah, you're allowed.
trauma.
CPS. Sorry,
They removed me from school, Star.
Really?
Yeah. So I went from being this rebellious teenager who was causing issues in my home, who was creating my own issues in my life by having issues with my parents, to being someone that they are now proud of, to being someone that they want to post about on Facebook, that they want to come and meet up with for lunch. Miss Hawaii, those were the doors that I didn't think about, right? Because I thought that I would always hold that space, or I would always be that person to them, the rebellious, troubled child. And not just like the kid that really needed love, that really needed the time and attention. I, as Miss Hawaii, was able to show up for younger Hayley in a way that I desperately needed the adults to show up for younger Hayley, but couldn't. So as Miss Hawaii, I healed a lot of those wounds without them. in comparison to being Miss Hawaii's Outstanding Teen, when I was a teen, I had no idea who I was. Life was very tumultuous and confusing. I barely knew where I was living or sleeping at or where my next meal was coming from. I was always fed, but like I just didn't know where it was coming from. And now I feel like I've created my own boundaries, my own safeguards, my own life, and I've curated a partner, conjured her up in my cauldron.
Witch! Sorry, you were being really serious. That was really good. Yeah. You said cauldron, I had to.
No, I was making it funny.
I was being funny too.
Thank you.
Sorry, I hope it wasn't too
No, I
serious.
loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I loved it.
Because you didn't really laugh, so. Sorry, serious. Go ahead.
Anyway. But like I created this life that was really beautiful, and I felt really safe in. And it wasn't until The Crown came on and the Miss Hawaii song started playing that I was like, oh my gosh, I never needed any of it. I'm so happy for it, but it wasn't until it was on my head that I was like, oh wait, that wasn't this wasn't the point. It was this.
It's not a game changer.
It was believing that I was worthy of it, and in that moment I believed it.
So good. Yeah, it's not the game changer that you think it is. That people think it is.
It's not about the sparkly hat. It's about the journey. And once you reach the end of the journey, you're like, oh my God, I did it. I worked through all of those anxious moments. I breathed through and stayed in my body, and I answered that gosh darn onstage question. And I did it despite being afraid. And that's the work, that's the journey, that's the beautiful crown.
I always like to say, like, you become Miss Hawaii before you're crowned.
Absolutely.
It may be that day, but you are her before. And then when it comes off, like, you become, like, feels like a woman of the world. You're just, like, so exposed to so much, right? Do you have anything that you feel like we didn't really touch on that you really want to share?
I don't think so. I think we got everything.
I feel like we got everything. But remind us how many appearances you did.
Oh my gosh.
In the amount of days that you had as Miss Hawaii.
315 appearances in 335 days. I'm still recollecting my brain cells.
Crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely
I know.
Crazy. You like reimagine, like, Miss Hawaii to me is like you worked for it. And that's something that I learned as Miss Hawaii, like, no one's going to work as hard for you as you are for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a job.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to create these things. Nothing is free.
Yeah. And that's why I was so grateful to you and my big sisters, like Crystal and Crystal Lee and Skylar Kamaka, who were like, Hayley, if you want to do something, you have to fight for it. You have to go for it. If I didn't have that in my mind going into my year, then I definitely wouldn't have had that many appearances.
Yeah.
But it's the village. It's a kako thing.
Period. Well, I'm so glad that you were here.
Thank you.
I'm honored that you said yes.
Oh,
honored that
I
you're
was
my
begging,
friend.
actually.
No, you didn't beg, nothing. I love you so much. And my first time ever shooting in Hawaii, hopefully not the last. But I love you. I love this place. It feels, I don't know, it just feels full circle to me, and full circle for us that like we started together and we are embarking on a new life together.
Yeah. Best friends forever. We're going to change the world. No pressure.
No pressure, but we will change so much.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at Heated at 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh, we so will.
It's like 10 p.m. right now.
Is it really? That's
time is
crazy.
10:30. I might not be at Heated at 6 a.m.
I have to cancel. I have to cancel.
Yeah, cancel.
Sorry,
but,
Olivia, I'm not going.
but you know the drill.
Yep.
Into the camera.
Okay.
I'm Hayley Cheyney-Kāne, and between you and me, whatever it's gonna be.
Okay. I'm Hayley Cheyney-Kāne, Miss Hawaii 2024, and between you and me, the only life you have to live is yours. The only person you have to be is you. So live authentically.
I'm so gagged. Wait, you were totally prepared. Nobody's ever prepared like that. I love it. Do you have a question for me? You're not supposed to. I'm saying, like, do you have any? And I'll answer them, but I don't want you to really ask me any.
Are you ready to go to bed? Because I'm tired.
I don't know. I've been drinking. I'm like, are we gonna keep drinking? No, just kidding. No, I love hanging out.
Wait, I do have one question for you.
Oh, wait, that was kind of rhetorical. No, go ahead.
How do you come up with your comedy? Because I think you're freaking hilarious.
Oh my god,
it's just off the dome, or
well, one, I was raised by like I said, my mom, who was like really a drag queen, and her gay best friend.
Oh my god, I'm a drag queen.
Yeah, I think it's just drag. I think it's just I think it's trauma. I think it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I have like a lot of my friends, especially in college, like, you know when you play Cards Against Humanities?
Love it.
First of all, I found out 3 years into college that they would throw me their like junk cards, and I would think that it's funny.
Oh.
So like none of my friends in college thought it was funny. They were like, oh, just give Star the rubbish cards because she never thinks that the ones we think are funny are funny. So like actually like not everybody thinks that I'm funny.
Or they have rubbish humor.
That's my personal opinion, yes. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of dry.
I also have dry humor, so maybe that's why we think we're funny.
That's why you think I'm funny. I think I'm hilarious. But not everybody thinks that. So, find your people, find your crowd. That's all I say. But thanks. That was like a complimentary question.
Yes.
Boom.
That's how friends should be.
Yeah, sickening. And that's Between You and Me with Hayley Cheyney-Kāne. Miss Hawai,
oh so lovely. You are the one, the only one. Like the flowers, Kekio Ka'aina, the heart of all Hawaii.
You did know the whole song the whole time. Oh my god.